Good evening, greetings everyone. Welcome to Luminata. It's always a pleasure to have Jon Rasmussen with us to talk and lead a guided journey in a shamanic ritual. And tonight he's going to talk on the subject of how the universe mysteriously brings change into our lives, often when we least expect it. And some of our most important life lessons come to us in these moments of surprise and sudden unexpected change. And you could probably call it the riding high in April, shot down in May syndrome. And it is true that, it certainly is true that when life hands you lemons, it's very helpful if you know how to make lemonade. So we are going to have a ritual and a guided journey, and Jon is going to talk on that subject, so please join me in giving him a warm welcome. Thank you, Jon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm really honored to be with you at this time and representing the beautiful shamanic lineage of the Karo that I'm fortunate to be initiated into. And this is in their tradition. These are their weavings, and this is a mesa that we use that has stones, and the stones represent each of the cardinal directions: the south, the west, the north, and the east. And it's the medicine wheel in this tradition, of course, which is universal. You know, all shamanic traditions have, you know, connections to nature in that way. And so tonight we're, you know, with the spring upon us, it occurred to me, of course, that there, particularly with spring, things grow that you didn't know they were there, the new places that flowers are coming up, and lots of surprises and lots of potential change, right? And that's nature's way. It's always, it's sort of, the saying is that nature seeks greater and greater complexity, which means that it's rarely going to be stagnant. It's rarely going, and it may feel safe sometimes to be certain and sure this is what it is, and this is where I am, and this is who I am, and I've got it all figured out, and it feels kind of comfortable for a little while. And then something can come along and completely rock that world for you. And so part of the mastery of the shamanic training is to learn not only what to do when surprising things happen, but to actually have practices and sort of dance with the unknown and the unknowable. It's one of the three stones in the north, the three masteries of the north, which are invisibility, keeping secrets from yourself, and mastery of time and space. That center one, keeping secrets even from yourself, is the one that allows us to let go of what we think we know, that we're absolutely certain this is it, this is what I know, so that we can be flexible in the face of change. We can be flexible in the way that the universe brings us what we're asking for, what we're manifesting experientially, but in forms and ways and paths that our brains could have never in a million years figured out. So you know, I know you've all had these experiences, and you can never get smart enough or experienced enough to ever get that, like, nope, that didn't surprise me. You know, it's always gonna do it. So anytime we do our work here in this kind of setting, and as a group, and in any time we call on the forces of nature, we open sacred space. So I want to do that first, and I'll just have everybody stand up with me and face each of the directions. Call on the spirit animals of this tradition, and know that they correlate in a lot of ways to really every tradition. This is very universal, and Any and all cultures and traditions really share a lot of this. So the first direction is south in this tradition. To the winds of the south, Sachamama Hatunamaru, great serpent, mother of the waters, the rivers, the galaxies, the roads that bring us together, come hold us in this healing space and wrap your coils of light around us. Help us to shed the old stories and wounds and heavy energies that no longer serve us in just the way you shed your skin, which is all at once, right here, right now, so that we can walk in beauty, in newness, gently on ourselves, gently on the earth. Be with us. Oh. And to the west, we'll see. To the winds of the west, Otorongo, great jaguar, Puma, come protect this medicine space for us. Help us to leap beyond any limiting beliefs and myths, certainty that no longer serves us, and instead help us to be warriors who have the courage to ask and receive our experiences, our preferred experiences in whatever form, so we can leap into who we are becoming, powerful, luminous beings. Be with us. Hold. To the north. To the winds of the north, great healers, wisdom keepers, lineages of all, ancestors and guardians of this land. Come hold us in the ancient wisdom and the wisdom to come. We honor you who come before us, and you who will come after us, our children's children. Help us take our seats with you. We've never left as joyful, childlike co-creators. And hummingbirds, siwarkenti, come help us to drink of the nectar of life on this epic journey, even when the journey seems difficult or the contrast seems great. Help us to do that which seems impossible as you do. Be with us. Hold. To the winds of the east, Hatunkuntur, great condor, Anka, eagle, owl, raven, macaw. Help us to soar high. Help us to have the broadest perspective and the clearest vision of our ideal destiny, our ideal experiences, our vision for ourselves and for the world, and help us to embody that, to grow corn with it, to bring it to earth and manifest it. Help us to listen to our bodies, to use our feelings as guidance and discernment and as a way of asking, to put the heart above the head, to honor the feminine once again in this way fully, and fly wing to wing with great spirit, with self-effort and grace. Be with us. Forward. To the earth, great mother, beautiful mother. Thank you for holding us. Thank you for being our true mother. Supporting us here on your belly with all your children, the stone people, the plant people, the two-legged, the four-legged, the creepy crawlers, the fin, the furred, and the winged ones, all our relations that are here to help us to embody their characteristics and instincts when we need them, to enjoy the great beauty of life here, the great mystery of the unknown and the unknowable as you constantly bring us and allow us to play and create on creating. Thank you, Mother. Oh. Titaita, Father, Son, Mama Kia, Grandmother Moon, Hatun Chaska, star brothers and sisters, thank you for showering us with your energy, your light, your cycles that make life possible for us. And doing this unconditionally without judgment, helping us to treat ourselves and each other this way. And Great Spirit, Leticha Wirakocha, Wakantanka, creator of all that is, you are known by 1,000 names, yet the innameable one that dwells within us and all around us in all forms. Thank you for bringing us together to sing this song of life one more day, to dance this dance of co-creation, to take it beyond where it's been before, new possibilities. Thank you for those you brought to us to help us. So that one mastery teaching of the North work of our medicine wheel that I mentioned, that keeping secrets even from yourself. This is like when you go to the movies and you know it's not real. Okay? But you keep that a secret from yourself so that you can enjoy. Right? So shamans see all of life as a theater. You've come here before, you come back for another 80, 100, whatever years. You maybe have patterns and imprints that you've brought from the past in your soul that might be influencing you and sort of manifesting things that you'd rather not or you're not aware of consciously. A lot of our work is clearing those to make you a little more free and in your power to more deliberately and consciously write your script. That's the work of the South. The work of the West is to make sure you're not still living your ancestors' stories and stuck in all of that and what they knew and what they know. And so then we get to the North when we're sort of free of these past experiences, and that's where the spiritual practices begin. This is where we want to become a little more free-floating, a little less in our heads, and a little more just in the flow with nature and creation. And then in the East, we use that to dream the world into being, to just sort of begin to play and begin to decide consciously what we'd like the story to be, not what we think it is. So it's a very mind-tricky thing, what we're going to do tonight, because you could say, no, but that's true. That's what happened. This is what's happening to me. This is what's going on. I see it. It's true. You can't, but how you perceive it and how you experience it is really the truth. You can only tell the truth of your own experience, they say. So 5 people can witness the same literal thing and have 5 different experiences of it. So this is the mastery when it comes to anything going on outside of you, anything that's out of your control. Anything can happen, we know this, and totally disrupt the status quo. And so, but to be able to understand and know that you're still the creator of your experience, you're not the victim of the thing or the perpetrator of the thing or the rescuer. You can play those roles all you want, but the mastery here is to recognize that if I just step in to that unknown and unknowable, if I do like the movies and just tell my brain to sit down and be quiet for a while, then there's the opportunity for you to create a new story around it. It's truly masterful. But again, in order to do that, we have to let go of the rigid. This is what's beautiful about spring, all the things that died and the plants that are, the branches that seem dead and rigid and stuck, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a whole new growth that springs out of it, and we're amazed how it is, right? So this is the opportunity to allow what you know, what you're certain of, about how it is and what happened, to sort of die. Let it go away, and then recognize that you can actually have some mastery, some control over the story. This is Viktor Frankl in the Holocaust. This was a good example of how he decided that they can't control my mind, so I'm going to take what's happening and I'm going to bring my own meaning to it. I'm going to think of it this way. And it really helped him get through that difficult time. Is this making sense? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The tricky thing is that we've been so our frontal lobe has been so overrated and been such the thing that we value and we reward that it gets a little bit out of control. It gets a little bit like, no, I know. This, you can't, here's what's happening and here's how you should feel about it, and there's no other way to, and it's like, yeah, no. So this is the challenge, this is the trick. And with this tradition, of course, we can sit here and talk about it all night long, and I could try to get that part of you, which is, again, sometimes the problem, sometimes the servant, to sort of understand this, and then you leave and you think, okay, next time something happens, I'm going to remember what Jon said, and I'm going to try and forget that that's what happened and make it more this. And that can be extremely challenging. And especially if you have had an experience that, because of just the way you were taught and the way we know how we should and shouldn't react to things, we have, essentially created the story of victim or perpetrator or rescuer. And anytime we do that, we're not creator, we literally lose some power. It's called soul loss. And there's a whole process called soul retrieval. There's a book in here, I'm sure, by Sandra Ingerman about it. And it's that process of going literally back in time to events that have already happened, and we're able to actually change our perception of it retroactively. And in doing so, we're able to reclaim that part of us. So you can do it real time when something painful and traumatic is happening. Ideally, there are also methodologies. Peter Levine, Taming the Tiger, I believe, is one of them, where you can, in that moment, change the story, decide how you want to perceive it, and stay in your power. That's beautiful. But this is new to a lot of us. So there's been past events, I'm sure. So I think what we'll do tonight is I'll take you on a journey to go back to any sort of event like that, and we'll change it. So we'll learn how to master changing what we know and deciding a new experience of it, and then we'll bring that part of us back. Does that sound good? We'll do a soul retrieval journey. I think that's appropriate for spring. Okay, so as with all journeys, it's happening more on a subconscious mythic layer of your being. It's not happening so much that this has to be fully aware and engaged. Your brain doesn't have to know everything that's happening here. There might be times in the journey you just sort of lose it, you space out, or you don't see anything, or you can't follow. Don't worry, because the way that this works, there's a part of you that's following along just perfectly. It's the mythic layer of your soul. Okay, so we'll just do that. Are there any questions about this before we get started? No. And you don't even have to know before we start a particular event. We're going to go down there, we're going to look around. It's going down into the earth and guiding you through these 4 caverns, and we're going to do stuff in each of those and just sort of see what comes. See what comes to your imagination. That's good, that's valid. And it could be surprising, it could be something you don't know about, it could be something from a previous life that you wouldn't know about. Okay? You ready? Okay, so take a few deep breaths. And I'd like you to imagine that you're moving from behind your eyes, where you normally look out into the world, and begin to drop down behind your mouth. Imagine looking out into the world from behind your mouth. And continue down into your throat. You looked up, you'd see your head above you. Imagine that. And continue down into your torso, stopping behind your heart, seeing your heart beating in front of you, your beautiful, loving heart. And then enter your heart and see the blood rushing by and the valves working. Imagine that. And in the center of your heart there's a light, a beautiful sphere of shimmering light. And it's the center of your soul, your essential self, your eternal self. It goes from lifetime to lifetime, here in the theater, having lots of experiences. And I want you to enter that sphere of light, leaving behind at this time all that is not your essential self, stepping into that eternal part of you. Surrounded by that sphere of light. And coming into the top of that sphere of light is a column of light from the source. Going out the bottom of that light, bottom of that sphere of light is a column of light down into the earth. And effortlessly now, I want you to follow that column of light down out the base of your body and down through the floor and down into the moist soil underneath us. Down past the stones and the roots, and the layers of sand and sediment, and down through the bedrock. And you come to an opening where there's an underground river of pure water. And imagine bathing in that river as your soul is cleansed. And then the river carries you down deeper into the earth, down into the warm belly of the mother. And you come to a large opening, a large cavern with a lake. And you come up out of the water. And there's a light at the edge of the lake. It's the keeper of this world, the lower world. Ukupacha in Quechua. And that light guides you in front of 4 small caves. And we enter the first cave. And somewhere in that cave is a historical part of you that sort of went hiding because of some event that you didn't feel you had power over. You fell victim or perpetrator or rescuer. So we want to call out in your mind's eye on this journey to that part of you and let it come forward. Let her come forward. And in your mind's eye, you can ask her to show you what happened, what caused you to feel this way. And like a memory or a movie in your head, or just a feeling, you might get a sense of what that event was. And it could be similar to many events in your life, but it only needs to be one. Again, one where you felt powerless to whatever has happened. But we have the opportunity now with that part of you to change the way you look at it, the way you perceive what happened. Maybe it was very painful. I'm sure it was painful. But it only lasted a little while. And maybe there was some unknown set of events that happened afterwards, or even before, that can help you change your perception and bring your power back. Change the way you feel about what happened. That it's not still happening, and even if it was, you can still change your perception of it. You can still create a better experience. What you might prefer. So work on that a little bit. Help this part of you look at it differently. Feel better. Like helping a child feel better. And let that part of you know that you're here now, you're living at this time, and you can make it really good. You have more knowledge and wisdom. You can make life better for that part of you. So please come back. Please come back so that we can be whole again. I can have your gifts again. And your joy, that you can grow again and be renewed. And take that version of you by the hand, that soul part, and make your way out of that first cave and make your way into the second cave. And together, as you look on the wall of the cave, there may be a scroll or something written. It's a kind of contract. Maybe something about the world not being safe, or something related to what had happened. But you no longer want that contract to be running your life and creating itself over and over. So we want to change that contract. We want to change that belief, that myth, that story to something you prefer. Something like, instead of love being painful or equaling loss, maybe love is beautiful and warm and kind and supportive and always there. Just change the story to what you prefer. Change that contract together with your soul part. Or just tear it up. You don't have to have anything to replace it. And if you have a new contract, you can bring it with you. Take that soul part with you and leave that cavern. And we're going to go into the third cave. And in that cave, there's like a movie screen that shows up. And it shows you what your life will look like now that you're whole again and that you've gained some power back and some gifts back. What might it look like now going forward? Now that you're whole again. Just a glimpse, a feeling. It's all it takes. Imagining the joy and the freedom and the power of your new life. Like flowers blooming in springtime. Your soul blooms again with new life. And you see it play out. You and that soul part. Now, make your way out of that cave with the soul part and the new contract, if there is one. And we're going into the fourth cave. As you enter that cave, there's maybe a little treasure chest or a table. And in that chest or on that table is a gift. It's an object or really anything that comes to your imagination. And it represents the gift that you receive now that you're whole again and that you have therefore to give to the world. It's like the fruit of your new growth. Just take whatever comes to you, whatever shows up, whatever you can imagine. And take that gift and the soul part and the contract and make your way out of that cave and thank the keeper of the lower world, that light. And we're getting ready to jump back in the water and come back up. But before we do, we call on a power animal that'll help you keep that soul part with you going forward, help you in every moment to choose how you perceive, to change the story to one of power, to one of creator consciousness every time. So whatever animal shows up, welcome it. Whatever comes to your imagination. And with the gift, and the power animal, and the soul part and the contract, jump into the water, and it begins to bring you back upstream, back up that river, out of the belly of the mother. And back to where you started in that underground opening. And with the soul part and the gift and the power animal and the contract, make your way back up through the bedrock and back up through the soil, past the stones and the roots and the layers, and back up through the floor and through the base of your body, back into that light in the center of your heart. And that soul part takes its place once again in your luminous body, in your aura and chakras. And the gift takes its place. See it going into one of your chakras. And you can even reach out with your hands and bring it in if you want. You can literally pull it into your chakras. Contract into your belief systems, into the mythic layer of your being. And the power animal is there with you. Those characteristics and instincts fill your energy field. Now make your way back into your heart. See the blood rushing by and the valves working. And back behind your heart, see it beating in front of you. Your beautiful heart. The lungs to either side expanding and contracting, bringing in the breath of life. You're still alive. It's a beautiful new life. Starting from today, right now. More power, more freedom, more mastery. Coming from your heart, coming from your soul and your body, the feminine. Having the mind serve that, as opposed to the other way around. And now make your way back up through your throat and behind your mouth and behind your eyes. And rub your hands together. Get a little energy in there. Feel your face. Feel your body. Know that you're fully present in this time and space here in this world. How'd that go? Is that all right? First journey, anyone? Was that? Have you done this before? First time? Yeah. So it's like anything. The more you do it, it gets easier. You can practice, just in case. But and you can do that journey anytime. There are. It's out there. It's probably on YouTube at this point, But you can take yourself on that journey and keep looking for more instances and historical things that you recognize, that you can reclaim. You can change how you perceived it and bring all those things back. And you'll notice how this day forward it literally changes. It's like putting the cart before the horse, because that old missing piece, and those old contracts and the old perceptions, they tend to just keep being true over and over. Everything that looks like that still looks like that, still feels like that. And so this act of power, this journey, coming here tonight in this new spring, it's like turning the spiral the other direction. And now the more evidence you'll get to support this new power and this new life and the return of that part, that new empowerment, and it just becomes truer and truer and easier, such that eventually, no matter what happens, no matter what mysterious change or mysterious event, you'll know, oh, yeah, we'll see. Maybe it's that, maybe it's not. Things aren't always as they seem. Maybe there's something later that happens that turns out to be a real blessing. And so you create the truth and the meaning, and the universe delivers accordingly. So just know that, and practice this. And as homework, you can have a little dialogue with this part that we returned tonight. You could talk further with it. Who are you? Why did you leave? What can I do to keep you? What do you want me to do now in my life that'll make you feel safe and want to stay? Not just Jon's words, but have a direct dialogue with this part of you, because this part knows. And learn all that you can for your mind, so that it goes that direction. It goes from the mythic and the body to the mind, not the other way around. Okay? Thank you so much for coming again, and I hope to see you again. And I usually I videotape this and I put it on my YouTube channel, so you can revisit it if you like, and stuff, including past ones that we've done here and so on.
So that you know it wasn't all just a dream. It really happened. And there are some thorns on you, so that'll make you
Even better. A little pain.
This is a sign of
Go with it.
spring.
They're really nice.
You'll have to deal with the thorns.
Aren't they pretty? There she goes. Gorgeous.
Good with
This one's asking.
Even petals when they're all done and busy and all.
It is your day for
It is.
Wow. Yeah, I like it.
And we have Jon's book for sale and several of his CDs as well. And the store is open for
Other
shopping.
stones will be put in there.